If you're betting on the NBA Finals, this is the one video you should watch today because this is the mathematical probability for every outcome in the Celtics-Warriors series and the odds no matter who wins a game. So whatever the series score is, I can show you the Vegas odds, what they will be for that series score. We're going to go through all that, but first let me tell you how we got there and let me tell you how I modeled these things mathematically because it'll teach you something about odds making. In every sport, home court advantage has a number of points it adds to the spread. In the NBA, that number of points is between 2 and 4, depending on how strong the home court advantage is. The Warriors historically have had one of the best home court advantages in the NBA, and so they average between 3.5 to 4 points added to the spread. So, knowing that the spread is minus 3.5 for game one for the Warriors, we can take away those 3.5 points and know that on a neutral court, these two teams, the Celtics and Warriors, are even, according to Vegas. We also know since the Celtics' historical home court advantage is about 2.5 points, that the Celtics will be probably about minus 2.5 favorites when they're at home against the Warriors, and it probably won't go higher than that because the Warriors are a fairly public team and Vegas won't want to move it further. Given that we know the projected spreads for each game in the series, now we can predict the series odds no matter what happens in the series. So let's get started. Game one, the most likely outcome is that the Warriors hold home court. They're about 60% to win game one, whereas the Celtics are about 40%. If the Warriors do hold home court, they move to about 70% to win the series, minus 256. But if they drop game one, they fall to under 40% to plus 147 to win the series. After two games, the most interesting thing about the Vegas projections is that it's a 48% chance the series is tied 1-1, which means that Vegas thinks the most likely outcome is the Celtics are able to steal a game and steal home court from the Warriors in the first two games. After game three, Vegas projects the most likely outcome is the Warriors up 2-1, with it being about a 40% chance, but closely followed by the Celtics up 2-1, with that being a 34% chance. And you can see the odds of every outcome below. After game four is another indication of how close Vegas predicts this series to be, with the series being tied 2-2 being the most likely outcome 38% of the time, followed by Warriors being up 3-1 27% of the time, and Celtics up 3-1 23%. In Game 5, the Warriors return home, and as you would expect, they are the favorites to go up 3-2, with that happening 34% of the time, followed closely though by the Celtics going up 3-2, which happens 29% of the time. And a further indication of how close this series is, tied 3-3 is the most likely outcome after Game 6, with it happening about 32% of the time. And finally, the Warriors win the series in 7 about 19% of the time, whereas the Celtics win the series in 7 about 12 to 13%. Now I'm going to do another video specifically showing you how to hedge a Celtics or Warriors future given these odds.